Hi, welcome to Max's Mad Mythic Mercenaries, presented by Arbitrary Hero. I'm your DM, Max, and today I'm asking my friends to tell us their worst and best story, tavern story. Um, Nate, do you want to lead us off, or whoever wants to lead us off?
Sure, yeah. All right, so Roland was out with his friends when he was a lot younger, and it was a friend's birthday. And another friend got really, really drunk and tried to pick a fight with the broiest douchebag in the bar. And all of us tried to pull him off of him. But for some reason, the guy tried to fight Roland instead, even though Roland wanted nothing to do with any of it. And the more he's just like, no, go ahead, kick his ass. I don't care. The guy wanted to fight him all the more. Uh, he said, you want to take this outside? He's like, past the guards? Sure, go ahead. That sounds like a great idea. But the situation de-escalated after a bit. But then the birthday boy's younger sister shows up and starts getting hit on by none other than douchebag. And she asks Roland to be pretend boyfriend for the evening. And once she told him who it was, he's like, oh, no problem. I'm happy to do this for you. And he spent the whole night getting glared at by douchebag, bro. But so that was fun. That's a fun tavern story.
So that was his worst story. What's his
best
one?
or worst?
Oh, both. Both, because he was getting challenged to a fight which he had no stake in, and also got to rub it in this guy's face that, I'll be pretend boyfriend.
Is this also your only tavern story, which is why it's both?
Yeah.
First time you were at a
tavern. Based on Nate's real life?
Possibly.
Yeah. Alu will go. Alu doesn't have any tavern stories. Alu sits in the corner and glares at people. She's not social.
You could tell someone else's tavern story.
I mean, I could tell stories about things that happen in taverns.
Actually, they could watch episode 1 for your best tavern story.
Right.
That time you guys murdered a troll in a tavern.
Marmaduke.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
Oh, well, I guess you guys have actually had a lot of episodes in a tavern. And actually, you live in a tavern, so, every day is just a tavern story.
That's very true.
Fair.
Yeah.
It's a tavern. Sounds like a fairy tale, just a tavern story.
Mm-hmm.
Where everybody knows your name.
Yes.
Yeah. So if Wilhelm gets drunk and he's a bard, people ask him for stories all the time. He usually sticks to the classics. But if he gets really trashed, he will start telling a story about him in his youth. And it is the most incoherent, unfollowable train wreck of a story that you've ever heard. It usually is enough he'll start getting loud and animated about it, but no one can follow along. It's basically just about how he ran away to band camp. But it's so boring and terrible that it will clear bars out. So that's why in Waterdeep, bartenders have put a limit on how much Wilhelm drinks, not for any other reason than to prevent him from telling this story.
Does Wilhelm also play the flute?
Yes. This one time at band camp with his flute.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I was waiting for it. I wasn't going to say it.
I would like to believe that Max has spent a considerable amount of time trying to use graph theory to put the entire story together.
Yeah, Maximus has a bulletin board in the library with red
He's got full Charlie
the yarn.
Yeah.
I got the yarn and
he's he can't be in two places at once. This doesn't make sense.
I found out that your life is actually a tesseract.
Yeah.
With events.
Yeah. Maximus definitely thinks something's up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can time travel, and that could help me with my aging problem.
Maximus might think Wilhelm's immortal if Wilhelm's ever been drunk enough to tell him this story.
Yeah. After rigorous research.
Yeah.
Okay. Who wants to go next?
Fen will go. Okay, so Fen has two stories. Both of them actually happen to be taking place in taverns. The first one is one where he's putting the moves on this really, as my grandfather would say, talented redhead behind the bar. And turns out she was wearing a magic hat and she wasn't actually a man. She wasn't actually a man at all, but a drow. And she blew up and
Wait,
killed
did you say she
him
wasn't
and his
actually a
buddy.
man at all? He was expecting her to be a man?
Well, human.
Oh, gotcha.
Human. And she killed like him in
Did
the
you say
bar.
she-
It was amazing.
Like, when you say she blew up, do you mean she literally exploded?
And I don't think she exploded, but I didn't know because I was completely.
Things
I was
exploded
killed.
around him.
Yeah.
Me and my friend were killed.
No, she sort of critted him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was fucked up, guys.
Critical explosion.
That's one story. Another story was I was walking in with my buddies to this bar in this. It was the most wretched hive of scum and villainy, and these two dudes walked up to me at the bar and like didn't like me apparently because I was a drow, and he was like bragging about his record, and he was like, I wanted on 12 systems. I don't even know what that means. And then my wizened old mentor comes in and cuts the dude's arm off, and they run away in terror. It was the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, that guy was actually an art student at the university, and that was his drawing hand.
Yeah,
Forever destroyed that dream.
He never drew
Yeah.
again.
no.
Never
Now
played
he
piano
begs
again.
on the street.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy.
Okay.
I can't wait to hear Holly's story.
Yeah. Holly.
We know she gets around places.
Does she even know if she's at a tavern? Like the high society thing? Like, isn't this just somebody's house where they sell alcohol?
Yeah,
Their hovel.
probably.
Our house.
Okay, so the best tavern story that Holly Reeves has is she was at the tavern that her family had erected one night in their home for a huge party / get together with all the high nobles. And everyone was having a grand old time because obviously it was open bar. So Holly was, and her dad had recently died. So she was like, you know, grieving. And this some magnificent work, and Holly Reeves, drunk as a skunk, went over to them and was just raving about them and giving them drinks as well, complimenting them, and it led to flirting, and then flirting led to kissing, and then kissing led to fucking, and
Wait,
Getting
is
real.
this still them? Like,
yeah,
multiple?
no,
Fantastic.
them as in it's either a man or a woman. We don't know. And
It cut out earlier when you were during the beginning, so I didn't know if this was multiple people or not.
no, 1%.
Okay.
1%. And Holly Reeves is deeply in love with them, but they unfortunately don't remember sleeping with her.
So there's a new quest that's been added to the roster, has there?
Yeah.
Find this
She
dude.
doesn't know what to do because she needs to get their attention, but they're oblivious.
Did you start taking wizardry seriously to try to restore his memory? Or her memory? Them?
No.
Okay. Just
No.
wondering, you know.
No, I started taking wizardry seriously so I could eventually kill people with my magic.
Oh, well, you're already there. I mean,
Yeah,
with
you're
magic
already there.
missile, you can just mow down people in the street. Most people don't have 1d4 plus 1 hit points.
Yeah.
Do that.
Yeah.
And then my worst tavern story is I was trying again to hit on someone and they weren't having it. And when they weren't looking, they were an athlete. And they weren't looking. So they were showing off their medal. And when they turned around, I snagged their medal.
I think that's
Nice.
just Hannah's excuse to show off her extra life medal that she got yesterday.
Yeah, they said it was for some like athletic fundraising event that they did.
Esports.
And they raised all this money.
But the best part is that they were telling that to somebody else and you snagged the medal, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
while they weren't looking. And they're
Exactly.
like, oh god, where'd the medal go?
Yep. Mine now.
Yeah. Okay, well. So who wants to, Finn, the recap, right?
When last we left our heroes, they were all searching. They were in the middle of their search, their hunt for the source of all of these maps that have been proliferating throughout the city. And via the direction of the Red Sashes, which I guess are a vigilante group. Am I right? A vigilante group within the city.
Yes.
We discover that, or we get a tip, a lead that there's a redhead named Megan, potentially can be found at this bar. I think the ship's prow, and that we can go and talk to her, and she can give us some information potentially on the source of these maps. So the crew makes their way over to the pub, and we're looking around the pub, and Fen tries to basically sidles up to the bar and finds Megan, who is strangely also a very talented redhead. And he just got a thing for him. He doesn't learn his lesson. And he was trying to put the moves on her, trying to get some info out of her. And then she apparently he sort of gave himself away apparently in what he was trying to do. And suddenly Megan basically kills Fen and Rolan, zeros them out.
Downs them, not kills. They're not dead.
Zeros them out. And in the fray, Megan's hat falls off. Her magic sorting hat falls off her head, and turns out that she's actually a drow named
just an asshole.
Named Zandra. And all hell breaks loose inside the pub. In the ensuing fight, our crew, our intrepid crew, what's left of us anyway, the women mostly, are aided by the plague rats in the fight, and eventually prevail. And they capture Zandra / Megan and hand her over to Artor, who is the guy who's trying to find the source of all of these profligate maps for the city. And then, of course, the most important thing that happens in the last episode is Alu revived Fen at the end. So that's all we really need to know. Oh, that's right. Also revived Rolan.
As per usual,
You're
one
welcome.
or more characters ended the session at 0 or 1 HP,
Right.
Yep.
Correct.
stumbling back from the fight.
We got to stay on brand.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
And then we also had one brief interstitial in the previous episode where we did a quick short, and all of the members of the crew basically joined up with different factions within the city. Fen joined. Help me with pronunciation here, guys. Fen joins the Bregenderth. Alu joined the Zentarum. Roland joined the Force Grey, or just Force Grey, which, by the way, I want to join someone with a cool name like that. That's unfair.
Force
Ali joined the Lawrence Alliance, and Wilhelm joins the Harper's Guild.
Technically, everyone joins the Harpers. Wilhelm's your contact, but you're also members. Like, in addition to the other factions, you're also helping the Harpers.
I want to join Force Grey. Badass.
Yeah.
You should
Force
have
Grey's pretty awesome.
spent your
It's pretty cool
resurrection
being a member.
ticket on something other than reviving your dumb self.
Nate can recruit,
He was dead. He couldn't.
and if you
Someone
buy
else
a
spent-
product
Wait,
from
does that mean I still have my own revive ticket since someone else had to spend their own on me? Is that the way that works?
No,
Yes.
Nate.
No,
Nate used
I
his,
used
and then
yours
he
for
took
you.
Yours.
I used
Yeah,
yours for
I
you.
essentially used yours for you and then cashed mine in for
Whoever
what's
gave
its
you
fucking
power of
face.
attorney? This is
Only Alu and Holly have get out of hell free cards.
For what
What
it's
about-
worth, from now on, I just, for my will, Fen is
Man, we could use get out of
DNR.
All right.
So do not resuscitate Fen.
Mhm.
Going
He's an organ donor,
DNR.
no
or
more.
as we like to call it in the magic biz, a component donor.
And
Yeah.
the very last thing we did last
Blood bag.
episode was just sit down for lunch. It is 1492, Eliant the 16th, about midday.
Yep. Yeah, so if you guys have anything else you want to do today, just give me the heads up. Right now, you're all sitting in the first floor of your tavern from the last session.
Alu is teaching Fen Undercommon.
Correct.
Oh yeah, that was something we meant to ask you, Max, at some point to get a
Yeah.
certain amount of downtime for Fen to learn Undercommon. how much downtime
Yeah.
that would take.
Functional
Well,
anyway.
you guys actually have a lot of downtime because you're city living. So, what'd you say to be functional?
A week.
A week
a
to be
week?
functional
Yeah.
to have like phrases.
Dude,
Well,
let's
that's-
do.
That
Are you
that was the initial intention.
And,
Just to be
unless your intelligence,
Mhm.
unless your the 2,000 divided by your intelligence is faster,
It's not.
I'm okay with the.
It's not any faster.
it's 200 days for
Yeah,
intelligence.
I didn't figure you had like a super high intelligence, but
No,
that,
I'm dumb. I'm a dumb.
He's a bumpkin.
after all those hits to the head,
Yeah.
And
Right.
resurrection.
losing consciousness and
Oh, brain
the
damage.
You also could speed things. So you have Alu as a resource. If you reach out to Breg and Dareth, you know they have Drow with them. You probably could surround, like you could do an
Immersion therapy
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
They will do fromage you.
Yep.
But yeah, I think Wilhelm would just be, if they're practicing like speaking and stuff, Wilhelm just eat and chat with Holly about how her day yesterday went, how her visit to her mom went, and all that stuff.
Oh, actually, you know
Mama's
what?
fine.
Let me do
She
something real
says
quick.
hi and sends her love. She wants
I'm
to have you
sure.
over again soon.
Yeah, I'd love to at some point.
Oh.
I'll have to show her a new script I'm working on.
Both Perdita and Lif speak Undercommon.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So you can do the immersion therapy at home.
Okay, so I'm
Cool.
asking them to basically only ever use Undercommon around me.
Yeah, I
talking
mean,
to
Lif
you.
doesn't talk a lot anyways, but he's trying to talk more. He hasn't talked in a
Oh,
really
you're
long
helping
time.
each other out. That's so
Yeah,
sweet.
but like you're rehabilitating Lif to living in, a place that has people. Anyone to talk to. But yeah,
Got it.
The two people who are terrible with people are going to be hanging out with each other.
Some of the things that we want to do with our downtime is have Max work on, I think it's Perdita's were-ratness.
Sorry.
To help Perdita. No, Siri's the
Perdita is-
ghost.
Perdita is the ghost, or at least that's what she's labeled on the map.
I think you have it backwards, but okay. Whichever one is the were-rat.
Suri's the were-rat.
All right. We need for us to be working on, like, in our downtime, like,
How to cure
information
her.
on how to,
Oh, Suri.
how to
Okay.
cure her and help her.
Yeah, Max will look into it. He'll start digging through books and he'll go to well, I don't know if the city has a library, but he'll find a library that he can go to. He might ask for a couple gold pieces for
Do
whatever
we
it costs
have
to get in.
everything together and ready for the grand
Mac
opening?
does ask though. Okay, can you take a look at this graph I have over here on the wall
Is it?
with this yarn? Okay, so there's this spot in Wilhelm's story. I just don't understand. Like, he says that he met the dragon on this day. But, like, he also was here. I don't... So, he just go... I'm going to bore you for, like, an hour with Cameron's story that's already boring, except that I've broken it down with graph theory.
It's like third-hand boring.
Yeah, exactly. Like, now I've turned it into a
Alu
dissertation.
starts taking a point of psychic damage every hour.
Yeah, I ask you to sit down and like I just want to get your opinion and have you write down like what I'm going over to see if you see any inconsistencies. Yeah. So anybody who comes to my room will take psychic damage from Cameron's story, but you will get what you want. But I take my toll. Yeah.
That's
so-
funny.
So yeah, Maximus will work on that. He's happy to. Anything to get him away from the graph.
Yes.
Yeah. So, was there anything else you wanted to do? To schedule for long term?
Or the
You broke up really bad.
do we have everything ready for the grand opening?
Actually, I did mean to ask, what day is that?
The 19th.
So it's just
Oh.
in like 3 days.
Okay.
Yep.
It's like Wednesday and it's on Friday or Saturday.
I guess the last thing Wilhelm will do before going to bed on the 16th, if we have to advance the day, is he will go see the what's his name? I want to call him a tabaxi, but that's not it.
The Rakshasa.
Yeah,
Vincent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Trench. You want to
yeah.
go
He
see
wants
Trench?
to hire Trench to find the family of. He's got a life insurance policy. He wants to find the family that this life insurance policy is payable to.
Okay. I mean, well, you come over and he welcomes you in. He has a horrible time with the door. Hard to turn with his hands.
Yeah.
But, he gets you in, and he pulls out chair for you, and he's like, what do you need from me?
Yeah, I'm just trying to, I have this life insurance policy. I need to pay out to the family, but unfortunately on the document itself, it's got the name of the goblin, but it doesn't have any way to find who it says it's payable out to his wife, but I don't know how to identify her.
And he holds out his paw for the paper.
Yeah, I'll hand that over.
Yeah, and it's a little awkward, but he gets it eventually, and then he holds it, and he's like, you have a last name? Oh, shit, this goblin probably doesn't have a last name. I can probably find out.
Appreciate it. How much is that going to run me?
I know 50 GP.
50, got it. I'll pay that. I'll pay 50, and then I know the life insurance policy is worth 200 GP.
Okay, I was going to ask, I was like, before I take your money. I mean, it is a goblin's life insurance policy. Is this a goblin king?
He worked for someone.
200 GP.
he worked for someone who was very passionate about HR and employee rights.
Well, there can't be very many of them around here.
Actually, that's probably the only lead I have. It is a Xanathar's Guild member named Krintz. I saw him at the Yawning Portal once. That's
okay. Well, that gives me something to go off of. I'll go talk to oh god, why am I blanking on his name? Because he would know. Durnan. He's like, I'll go talk to Durnan. I've talked to him before.
Appreciate
Wouldn't
it.
believe how many murder cases lead back to the Yawning Portal in that goddamn tower that goes down into the Underdark. It's a good place to leave corpses.
Yeah, I imagine it is a good place to disappear people.
Yeah. Yeah, if you ever need to stash a body, just do it there.
Yeah.
Or actually, there's this gravekeeper. If you just mix a body in with his stuff over at the precinct, like,
oh god,
yeah,
I know who you're
attack.
Talking about. Yeah,
Rockefeller. Yeah, good man, right? Gets rid of bodies on the cheap. Doesn't even know he's doing it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd call it good, but it is effective.
Depends on your business.
Yeah. Well,
he says, "Well, I'll take care of this. I'll get back to you in a day. I should be
taking notes, Roland.
A little bit, mostly
Next
just
time you
making
murder
sure.
someone.
Yeah.
Mostly just going over what I should know already.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you gonna take this information back to Rolan? So that
no, I don't think he cares.
This was from a
really,
Rakshasa
it's
private detective.
Alu's the one that killed him. The goblin.
I wasn't DMing at the time, so I can neither confirm nor deny.
No, you were DMing. This is the goblin that we.
Oh, that guy. Yeah. No, I was talking about the one that Nate killed.
Oh, gotcha. No, this one, Alu slit his small childlike throat.
Yeah.
While he was sleeping.
Yeah, and the picture fell out with his family.
Yep.
Did you give that to the Rakshasa?
Yeah, I would. I'd give that to him too. I'd be like, here's every lead
okay, I'll
I've got.
take this with me.
All right.
If I find the kids, I'll ask them if they drew it.
All right.
That should be good.
And yeah, I'll head out.
Thanks for the entertainment.
Hmm.
And he closed the door behind you. Okay.
And I think that's all Wilhelm's gonna try and do that day.
What time does Finn go for his walk? Or for his
early.
run? What is early? Because I rolled for the time that
before the sun rises? Or
oh, good.
No, he meditates first, so he'll probably meditate until the sun rises, and then he'll go for his run.
Okay. And
as the sun is rising?
I guess
Correct.
I don't know what time the sun is rising.
Hold on, So we are advancing to the next day. Let me update that.
I thought you were going to look up what time the sun rises on the Sword Coast on the 17th of Ellie's.
6:53 a.m.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that an actual tool that you can do?
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
This
is it also cloudy and overcast this day?
Yeah. Do you have the weather, Cameron?
Yeah.
Check the Sword Coast Farmer's Almanac.
I don't have a weather forecast.
Okay.
Loser.
It is a little overcast with volcanoes. So, yeah.
Volcanoes.
Sunny with a cloud of meatball. Chili
Yes,
meatballs.
exactly. No. Okay, so you get back from your run and come inside, and I guess where is everybody right now? For no in particular reason.
William gets up pretty early in the morning. He'd be having breakfast, and he'd be having breakfast at the bar. Probably the staff's not there, right? The halflings aren't there this early.
No, they're not there. Not yet.
Roland would have gotten up, done his calisthenics
I guess
exercises, and come down and started making breakfast
It's
for
getting
everybody.
it's getting close to around 10.
Okay, so they'd be there then to start, like, they do the morning cleanup and stuff, because we do a lunch service, so they'd be prepping for that.
Okay.
Wilhelm will be at the bar, and he's helping Perdita with her stuff, and then eventually he'd go up to the attic and hang out with Surrey for a little bit. He's bonded with the two girls.
And where is everybody else?
Roland would have been behind the bar making breakfast for everybody.
Okay.
He's at the bar just lounging.
Maybe showing all the newbies where everything is in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So place your tokens where you want them, and just
I'm
leave
sandwiched
them there.
between the two new helpers
So
and the
I guess
ghosts.
Finn and Alu, do you want to be sitting where you're at? Is Marmaduke sitting there?
Yeah, I think that's yeah.
Okay.
Marmaduke's, snuggling
Finn-
in my lap, but I can't put him in my lap.
Alu's Fenn's pestering Alu with questions about
And
Undercommon.
Oh yeah, they could be practicing.
Perdita is upstairs with you, Cameron?
No, Surrey's upstairs with me. Perdita's
Oh,
down
Surrey,
at the bar.
I can't. Okay. Well, I'll put Perdita with you guys. She's helping with Undercommon.
Since Surrey hasn't figured out how to, like, revert back, I assume she kind of stays away while the staff is here.
Yeah, that probably would. You could just pass her off as a rat folk.
Yeah, a ratkin.
Yeah, she's a dwarf ratkin.
Yeah.
Strangest combination of conditions. So yeah, Nate, you hear a knock, or anybody actually hears a knock at the front door. Does anybody want to?
Yeah, I'll get it, and then I'll just do that one-handed hop over the bar and go over. And we don't have a peephole in the thing, right? So I'll just crack it.
But as you go to touch the
window.
door, you guys hear a huge explosion, and the windows are blown out.
Fenn dies.
Great.
So would anybody sitting next to a window or the door make me a reflex or
Are
a
you fucking
dexterity
kidding me?
saving throw?
I swear to God, if Fenn gets zeroed out again here, I swear
This
to
is
God.
why I was very specific about where you're sitting.
What were
What-
our appointments we were supposed to
No,
keep today?
no.
What kind of life saving throws are we supposed to make?
Make
I had my
me,
force gray.
make me a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. Oh, not good. 7.
Okay.
That's better.
Who was that?
That's Fenn just rolled a 15,
Oh, Finn. Okay, good.
and then Alu rolled a
Okay.
10.
Can
Great.
you make one for Marmaduke as well?
I'm taking one from Marmaduke.
Well, you
Kill
made
my
your save,
cat.
so Marmaduke,
Hold on.
and you can fail your save to shield Marmaduke from the explosion.
Yep.
Okay, Marmaduke made his save. The only person who failed was Nate. You are blown off your feet, with splinters of door, in you.
Lovely.
You take 5 damage from the door.
5. Okay.
It's actually apparently it's more than a splinter. It's like you have a piece of the bar of the door in you.
Awesome.
Yeah. And everybody right now, you kind of got the whole tendinitis thing going on. Nate, when you get back to your feet, well, anybody who's close to windows, when you get back to your feet, you can just see outside. There are people running in the streets and screaming. There's fire. A lot of the stands that were out front that where people hawk their wares have just been. It looks like exploded. Can you guys give me a Arcana check? Anybody who knows Arcana?
Yeah. Well, so with the explosion, Wilhelm would run down, and he would end
Won't
up
be doing
probably
that.
here because the entrance is outside. The explosion came from this side.
Yeah, it came from the side that has your front door. Okay. So Holly, you have heard fireball spells before. You know that without even looking behind you, you know it's a fireball that went off. Apparently everybody else thinks that like it's an IED.
Gotcha. So, like, because we just were introduced to the concept of guns and black powder, we're like, oh god, the drought.
Yeah.
Fen, what did your friends do?
You guys are more aware of gunpowder than fireball spells, so
Yeah.
you think somebody has set off a powder keg out front. But you see 10 or more people laying in the street, clutching
Shit.
wounds or just dead. You see people running in every direction, trying to get away. You see off in the distance a griffin rider who is turning towards the smoke that's rising. It doesn't look like anything has caught like fire to the point that it's going to spread. There's cinders all over the place, but nothing's burning yet.
How many people are Wilhelm? The first thing he would do would be to check to see out of those, you said 10 people, who is not immediately dead.
Yeah, that's Roland would join you with that endeavor.
How are our little hobbits around here? Can we send one of them to go grab the watch?
Actually, let me do something real quick.
Halfling. Sorry, Tolkien.
Yeah.
So, Kelso is shell shocked, but all the other ones are still have their wits about them. And so if you want to send, well, Danica is the closest one.
Yeah.
She'll run and try to get one of the flag down a guard. But you hear a commotion. You see the griffin up in the sky turning towards you. So the guard are already aware.
Yeah.
From what you can see. But yeah, out in the street, there are, let's see here. Out of the bodies, you find that there's 11 people dead and 6 wounded. The 6 wounded seem to be on the very outskirts of the blast.
I have enough healing words that I can heal all 6 if I burn all my spell slots, and Wilhelm would do that.
Okay.
I can also make medicine checks to help, like splint or bandage or whatever, if I can.
With a healing word, they won't need that.
I mean, I guess so, but it's a
Well, I
matter
guess
if
it
you want
depends
to
on how
expend
badly
the
they're
spell
in.
slots.
Yeah, how badly are they injured? Are they injured?
I mean,
Badly,
some of them have
badly?
some pretty bad burns on them.
Yeah, so
Um,
heal the ones that are
I mean, there's a
obviously
guy who was like
hurt.
hit with like a plank that came off of one of the stalls. Like he's just got like possibly a broken leg. You can't see inside, so you don't know if it's broken or not.
You're seeing my rolls.
He's not
right?
walking, but like some of the people closer have like burns on them.
Let me see if I can save those spell slots. Do I have anything else that heals? Nope.
Let me see how many. 2 of them have burns on them that like obviously you could treat them with healing, but like that's gonna take longer to heal than.
I can always, again, Wilhelm, I can always go get a splint or like make a makeshift something or other.
I think in the moment
Medicine.
he wouldn't. In the moment
think
he
about it.
wouldn't think of that.
Okay.
He's just here to help.
Sorry,
You
just to
guys
clarify,
stand there and
we
ponder.
noticed the Griffin Rider is like coming back around for like
Yeah,
another...
they are now circling the fire, and you hear the whistles of the watch as they're coming this way.
Can Holly Reese go towards the fire and cast Ray of Frost on it?
There's cinders in certain places, but there's nothing that's not like burning anymore.
Okay.
If these are all civilians, I think they're all back to like full health, basically.
Yeah, I actually, is that 2d4 plus 2?
At first level, it's 1d4 plus 3. At second level, it's 2d4 plus 3.
Yeah, you can't fail to heal a civilian at that point.
And then
none of them seem like they're the 2 that you healed, they're burns. Or how many did you heal?
6, all 6.
6. Oh yeah, they're all good. You know, I mean, they're thanking you profusely. One of them runs. I mean, they're obviously.
Right. Well, if he's got this, can Roland move towards where the blast is evidence? Like it is.
Yeah, you can.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you still hear guards coming, but you can get closer to it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll move down the road.
You're pretty in that. Well, it was right out front. Like,
was it right out front of my place?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
why your door was like.
Then I will
back in.
Got it. Oh, so someone bombed our house.
They bombed the street across from your house. Not they didn't. So like
the street map.
Yeah. Let me. That's a good point. I forgot we had that. It's just been so long since I've.
Right.
Well, I've never made an attempt on your house yet, so you know. There we go.
Yet.
All right.
Did they blow up Froon's Brews? Is that what you're saying?
They blew up basically like right here in the street where people were like hawking wares.
Well, how did that hurt us if we were
Oh,
sitting...
I'm sorry. No, you're right. It's Fern's Brews. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Other direction. Yeah, Fern's Brews just took a hit. Wow, you guys taking care of the competition already, huh?
Oh no. So Wilhelm will be
riddance,
out
Brew.
then.
Yeah, Fern's
Right.
Fern's blown.
Yeah.
I will
Brune.
I will go
Go.
check on the situation across the street in Froon's Brews then. If
Does
I'm
our
muted.
pub have like a cellar?
Yes.
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 Lord, let me check something. Oh, okay. You see that the door to Fern's place is open, and Fern is definitely one of the corpses.
Froon is definitely one of the corpses.
Yeah, he's in his doorway. Well, a little further back. He was probably a little further out his door when the explosion happened.
Okay.
So,
Well, Ben is shuffling the rest of the remaining halflings down into the cellar.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Good.
gladly. I mean, there's one of them that obviously is they're having a hard time coping with it. The other 2 though are trying to help her.
Mhm.
And then Ben goes outside.
Hillary's in the street where she is right now use detect magic to see like if she can tell where exactly the explosion came from, or if
You can try, but you know that magic like this is typically very fleeting. But I mean, it was very recent, so you can give it a shot. So when you cast detect magic, you see that
Maybe.
does
that
that work?
there's yeah, put it in chat. But in this case, like because there's no like check associated with detect magic.
Yeah, there's no roll, Hannah.
Yeah, I'll just explain what you see. So, you see like the telltale sign of a spell like this having gone off. It's super weak because the spell is instantaneous. But you see one of the bodies has a small magic item on
All right, I want to go and investigate that body.
them. You see that it is a gnome. They are very charred, but you can tell from the demeanor or the shape of them that they're a gnome. They have a burnt cloak on them that it looks like it was wrapped pretty tight around them, and they were clutching a dagger.
Okay.
So let me make another roll here. Okay. So does anybody else have any other actions? The whistles are getting closer.
Yeah, so Wilhelm healed. He would ask like Fen and Alu if she's out, or once they come out to search the bodies, and he'd ask whoever he healed that is still around, like what they saw and what happened.
Yeah, I think Alu would be doing like a investigation/perception investigation, basically. See
I mean,
if there's anything she sees that looks jinky.
You see some people who aren't like hurt, but are like huddled up against like like behind something, still shell shocked from it happening. I mean, you know, adventurers, this is kind of normal to be under fire, but for commoners, this isn't something they're used to. So, if you want to pick somebody on the street, you can start questioning them, but it'll take a little bit to get them back to their wits.
Are there live like people up on their feet still walking around?
I mean,
on the
there
street?
are. Most of those people ran, though. I mean, there are people who are coming out of their houses to like look at what happened who are further away. But in this alley right now, you either have people who are like they're in shock because they were just in an explosion or close to it, or who or are dead.
So
And we know that this dude is. We can see him circling around to come back.
Well, yeah, the Eagle Rider. He's actually just circling the pillar of smoke that's rising from the explosion.
Okay. So
Is
we
it-
can't tell if he's like going to do it again.
Is it obvious to see where the epicenter of the explosion was? Like, was it inside Frisbee's or just in the
Yeah,
street
What I was
somewhere?
looking into.
Can I? Which of these? Actually, I don't know what this is here. Is that just? I assume that's like their doorstep. It would be like right. It would be centered like right here.
like
In the
here.
middle of it?
That's centered on the dude with the dagger.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's very close to the dude with the dagger. There's two other guys that are behind the dude with the dagger. They are two humans that also had cloaks and they had sheathed longswords on them. But they're also burnt really badly. It's in between those two, in between the gnome and the two people who had swords.
Okay, so it went off in the middle of them.
Yeah, in next to behind the gnome, or in front of the gnome rather, you have 4 halflings. You could hear the music while you were eating breakfast. They go out there in the street and they play music and dance for money.
Not anymore.
Oh Jesus.
Well, yeah, yeah.
So if it's a fireball, Wilhelm would ask Holly to run to the south side of the alley and look, and he'd run to the north side of the alley and look for like a wizard or anyone trying to hurry away.
Well, I just want to ask real quick, Holly, were you doing anything with that item that you found?
That
Did you
dagger?
pull it out of the pocket, or the magic item that he had? It's not the dagger. That was
Oh.
magic.
No, because I wouldn't have a need for a dagger. I would just.
Oh, no,
leave-
It's not
not-
a dagger that's magical.
in
Something
his
else.
pocket
You
still.
found a
That's-
magic item.
You haven't
Oh.
opened his pocket yet
I-
to see what it is.
Okay, then yes, I would do that because I want to
Okay.
take the magic item.
Okay. Well, you pull it out, and it's this little stone. Almost looks like a face. Is carved into the stone. And that's what he had in his pocket.
Okay.
It's pretty magical.
It's like
it
a
has stone,
pretty.
but
Buddha.
yeah, I was actually going to say it looks like one of the Easter Island heads, except like miniaturized.
Okay.
And the facial features are not human, but you can tell it's a face.
Okay.
And you're just going to pocket that?
Can I do any sort of like? Can I investigate that specific item? Like, can I learn anything from it?
Let me check real quick if it. So I need to know if detect magic does what it did in previous editions. Where may you learn? Oh, it's School of Magic.
Yeah, that's identify you're thinking of.
Well, it does say on here that it lets you know it's School of Magic.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah, that's the only thing that you would learn from looking at it. That it has a strong aura and that it's School of Magic would be Conjuration.
Oh, that's interesting.
So yeah. I guess so you're pocketing it, or are you doing what Wilhelm asked, or are you
I'm pocketing the item, and then yes, I'm gonna run to the south side of the alley and see if I can find
okay?
or notice anyone running away.
It's really weird because with the fireball, you would normally, like, if you were this close to a fireball when it went off, you would normally see like a trail of, like, a tiny wisp at least of where somebody cast it and created the point of the explosion. But you don't actually see that here.
On
You
either
just-
direction.
Yeah, you just see the explosion. You don't see the tiny little wisp where somebody had messed with the weave to cause fire. It's really strange. Actually, can you give me an Arcana check?
Can Wilhelm do the same?
You can, yeah. Yeah. Actually, you're a bard, so that makes a lot of sense. Let's see here. Okay. I mean, to your knowledge, you don't know of a way somebody could cast a fireball without this fresh, without leaving the tiniest sliver of like where it came from, like the tracer, essentially. I just realized, I don't know if Hannah communicated to you that she used detect magic and didn't see that.
She hasn't said anything.
So, I mean, Wilhelm rolled lower, but
Gotcha. He doesn't know that yet. He's searching around for a wizard
if
still.
she explains that to you later, I'm just
I'll
keep
put
this
2 and
roll.
2 together. Yep.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, so you're not sure of a way that can be done. It's just really strange. And so as you guys are running down, the guards start pouring in. You have City Watch. You have members of oh god, what's this second one? The Town Guard. You basically have City Watch coming from further in the city, and you have Town Guard coming from the walls, as well as the Griffin Rider above you.
Is the Griffin Rider something we would be familiar with, or is this something threatening?
Waterdeep has a Griffin Rider cavalry. You know this.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're like a mounted police force.
Yeah, I think Cameron mentioned that last time. They fly over the city, and they just basically
They're like helicopters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he's probably just looking for people in alleyways.
They do a big aerial show for bright swords.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. They're the oh god, the blue griffins.
Yeah, the blue
God.
griffins.
Yeah.
The giant thunder eagles, thunderbirds.
Yeah, exactly.
Griffins I'd have a whole army of griffins in Warcraft 2 as the alliance.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever seen a griffin break the sound barrier? It only happens once. Anyways, so yeah, one of the guards, or one of the City Watch comes up to you, Rolan, and it's like, "What happened here?" And he starts questioning you. What did you see?
Okay. Do I happen to know this guy with my activities in the watch?
Yeah, Scythe Cromley.
Scythe Cromley. Okay.
Actually, I'm gonna spell this. I don't know that I'm pronouncing it right. Saeth. Scythe.
Saeeth.
Scythe.
Scythe.
Sure. Yeah.
Scythe.
It's like a Welsh Seth, maybe.
Okay, it could be Seth.
Should I just? I'm just gonna go with Seth then, because that's way easier than.
You're the DM,
Scythe.
man. It's your
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, but I also because people can look this up later. I was gonna try to, and also I have no idea what origin that name is from, so I wanted to try to get it right.
Okay.
It's just a Seth that fucks sheep.
Wow.
Yeah, you take it, Wales.
Oh, man.
Picking fights with whales.
With the Welsh. Oh my god. They
Great
don't
idea.
They don't represent us. They don't speak for all of us.
Okay.
Anyway. Yeah. Okay. So I guess he's talking to me because he knows me, but I will tell him that
he doesn't. So you know him, but
he doesn't know me.
He clearly doesn't remember you. You've met once, kind of thing.
All right.
So you know of him basically, and you've done work for his department, but just through other people. He's higher up than anybody you've worked with.
Okay. All right.
So he's like, what did you see? What happened here? And he's before you have a chance to answer, he's like, cordon off that roadway and that roadway. We need to get all these corpses marked. And don't send them to the precinct 2 blocks from here. Send them to the temple.
I think my soldier mode will kick in, and I'll just snap off a quick salute and go do what he says.
You by the shoulder, and he's like, "Not you, dumbass."
We don't want to lose the bodies.
Okay.
Cloud strife over here.
Yeah.
I mean, I come from a soldiering family. It's what I do. Anyway, I'll tell him that our residence is this one. I'll point to the house across the street. We were having, a late morning breakfast, and we heard some sort of explosion that shattered all of our windows. We came out. Yeah, I'll show him like my puncture wound
from the door. Roland.
Like a piece of wood in you.
Yeah,
For
I'll be
5
like,
damage, it's a pretty big piece of wood.
yeah, and I'll show him my door. I heard a knock at the door. I went to go open the door, and the door opened itself for me, along with a bunch of extra force behind it. We came out here, and this is about what we saw. We've managed to tend to the wounded so far. My friend over there is tending to the wounded.
Oh yeah, the guards who are cordoning off the ends of the streets have grabbed both you and Holly. Well, they haven't grabbed Holly because they recognize that she's a noble. They're giving you space, but they've grabbed Wilhelm and they're hauling him back over here.
As they haul me back, can I try and just sleight of hand grab a badge off one of them?
Sure. Yeah. Give me a sleight of hands check.
Oh. You're not the thief. You're not the thief.
Perception on these guys.
That's pretty good.
18.
Pretty good. That is. I did not. I only looked at the 11 and I was like, oh god, he's gonna have like a +1. I'm glad you have a plus. Glad you decided to do this with a +7.
Yes. They had their passive perception, I'm sure it beats.
I mean, I'm gonna keep things rolling. I assume that they're not gonna beat it. If I find they are, we might just go back a few seconds. Yeah, because I seriously doubt they are, but
sure thing.
Let's see here.
So what I'd try and do with the badge then is impersonate a plainclothes officer so I can examine the bodies.
Oh, okay. Give me a bluff check.
Yes, and because of my background, I get advantage on it since I'm impersonating someone else.
Yeah.
Or performance. Deception or performance.
Yeah, whichever one you want to use. Thank you.
Oh, that's way better.
26 or a 20? I guess 26 with advantage.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, after you flash the badge, they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry." They're like,
I'm a detective.
Yeah.
Detective Malone.
That looks just like my badge.
around here, the badges don't specify like an actual like rank. They just like they don't have.
Mm-hmm.
They probably do have the
resources. Mendoza.
Like they don't have the resources, or they don't spend the resources to make them unique to rank.
Yeah,
so.
So out of the bodies, I'm trying to be quick and get in and out pretty fast. So I'm not going to focus. The halflings, I think I'm not worrying about. I want to look at the 2 humans with the swords. The 3 people, like, I guess on a quick glance on the 3 people, the 2 women and the half-elf man. What did he say about them?
Armor weapons.
I just said there were 2 females and 1 half-elf dressed in plain clothes. Do you want to investigate them?
I'll start with the sword guys.
They are outside of the ring of swordsmen, like kind of like how the halflings look like they are
on the edge,
adjacent to the blast.
Gotcha.
These people are as well, and they're not clumped together either. They're at separate spaces.
Yeah. So I guess I'll start with the sword guys, and then I want to look at the gnome. I know Holly looked at the gnome, but Wilhelm didn't see that.
Yeah, you beat the passive perception of these guys, by the way.
Sweet.
Just figured as much, but I had to double check. Yep. So you're good.
Yeah, if I bend down and like give the sword guys a once over, do I find anything on them besides their swords?
You do find that they have Zentarum tattoos.
Ooh, okay.
So they are part of the Zentarum.
Got it.
But other than that, I mean,
and it
you know,
seemed like they were in order behind the gnome, is what you were saying, or they were?
Yeah, because the gnome is facing away from them, and they're behind the gnome. Well, you assume he's facing away because, I mean, well, with the blast, he could have been knocked in, you know, dizzy, but hard to tell.
Okay. And then, if I go to the gnome, is there anything else he has on him?
Well, it looks like some of his pockets have been gone through, and he's clutching a dagger. Like all his pockets are turned out.
Yeah, I don't
Dagger
want to
look
fuck up with the actual investigation, so I don't want to take his dagger. But I guess I want to look at his dagger. If the two guys are Zents, is he like maybe Xanather or anything on him would lead me to think he's
any marks on him? Usually Xanathars would have like, well, in the most egregious case, they'd have like, you know, that weird multi-eyed thing on their head, as a tattoo.
Yeah.
Usually they would have something like on their wrist or,
got it.
something like that, so that it's easy to show as identification. But you don't see anything like that. Both the Xanathar guys had it on their wrist, presumably their dominant hand, but because they both had it on their right hand.
Okay, then if I've done that with my badge, I would flash it to get out of the guard circle that's forming and go try and talk to some eyewitnesses. But I can wait to do that if other people are doing simultaneous stuff.
Seth finishes up with Nate, and he's like, "Well, you sure didn't see my. Go over there and get one of our clerics to heal you." And he points you over to an area where they've started gathering bodies, and he comes over to you. Seth starts walking towards you, Cameron.
Yeah.
He's like, "Detective, what have you found?"
So far, not much. It looks like, and I'll point to the gnome, this guy was the center of the blast. I'm gonna go talk with eyewitnesses now. We've got, it looks like 2 Zents with either with him or near him. Everyone else looks like civvies.
Spits
yeah,
on the ground.
Wilhelm will light up. He's got a pipe. He'll light up a pipe and smoke, and he says, "Sometimes this city just eats at your soul."
Tell me about it. Have you
I
heard?
was 3 days away from retirement too.
Anybody said how close Barnabas is?
Who?
Has anybody said how Barnabas?
That's you asking me in character. That's not you, Max, the DM, asking Cameron something.
Yeah.
I haven't heard from him, but I mean, he's got to be on his way. This is his beat. I just happen to be here grabbing a drink at the excellent Trollskull Tavern. Really good breakfast there. And I came out, take another puff on the pipe. I came out and I saw people were hurt, so I tried to help where I could.
Yeah, well, that's what duty calls for. It's a shame. I used to come to Fern's brews a lot. Guess I won't be here anymore.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate.
You mean the new annex of Trollskull Manor?
Yeah.
I'll point Rolan out. I'll be like, he has motive. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. So he says, can you go down to the precinct and see if they can send corpse carts? I haven't sent anybody yet. And I would send these dullards, but I want to send somebody with some more experience.
Yeah, I'll get right on it. Sure thing.
Okay, thank you. What was your name?
Mendoza.
Yeah, I'll say
Scoey Mendoza.
Scully?
Yeah, Scoey. He's the sidekick for McBain on Simpsons.
Why not Mendoza? Scoey Mendoza.
He says, "Good work, excellent observations on the crime scene."
Yeah, you'll have to
And
hopefully.
he shakes your hand.
I'll shake his, and I'll say, I'd love to see. I've heard great work by Barnabas. I'd love to see his report when he gets everything taken care of.
Well, if we ever see it, that'll be something else. Watchful Order of Magisters doesn't usually report that kind of or share their information so openly, but we'll see what we can get from him this time.
Yep. And then I guess where is his attention focused?
He goes back to just ordering people around and telling people that they're idiots, that they need to get back, that they're doing it wrong, that they're littering the crime scene with bad DNA evidence, even though he spit on the ground earlier.
Wilhelm wants to interview people, so his goal is to get out of sight, flash the badge, tell a guard to go to the precinct to get the corpse cart, and then sneak back into
really Mendoza's reputation there.
He wants to sneak back into the house and switch outfits, and then come back out.
Okay. Yeah. Well, of course you can get past it, and like nobody questions you. Like you did such a good job, just acting like a detective that they just all assume you are a detective.
Yep.
Peter, one of the greenest guards you've ever seen. Yeah, let's go down there. Thank you. And he runs off while his voice is cracking.
Yep.
And he's going towards the precinct.
Gotcha.
Actually, he starts running one direction, and one of the guards is like, "It's the other way." And he turns around, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I just got mixed up." And you see him go the other direction.
Awesome. Then Wilhelm will sneak out through the alley. Yeah, he'll sneak out through the alley and head into, because the entrance to the actual manor part of the tavern's up here. So we'll head up there, and he'll get his outfits and his makeup kit and just switch his look around.
Okay. Yeah. Well, and I mean, also, you have plenty of ash to work with to dirty your face up, and,
Yeah.
There's tattered cloth everywhere.
Yeah. So that'll take him a little while, but he'll do that while the other rest of the party's doing stuff.
So are you going to come back out through the front?
The only entrance is up here. So we figured out they're not actually connected. He'll have to come out this way.
Right. This is basically Probasco, but without the connector.
Without connector,
yeah. But yeah, so once after enough time passes, he'd go out. He'd come back out.
You didn't connect it?
Yep. No, because why should she care?
Yeah,
that's true. You should get a fire pole put in Nate's room so you to get down is to go into Nate's room and then take the fire pole down.
Yeah. Well, eventually Wilhelm will come back out and look for eyewitnesses, but I assume this takes up a chunk of time while the rest of the party does stuff.
Yeah. Actually, somebody's gonna come up to some guards are giving you a hard time. Finn. There's some guards giving you a hard time because you kind of look at now, and they assume that, which is funny because you wouldn't want to be out here in the light and causing large amounts of fire if you were really a drow.
Holly Reeves wants to walk up to the guards and defend Ben.
I mean, as soon as you, what do you say to him?
He's with me. He had nothing to do with this. And unless you want to lose your job, I suggest you start walking.
And they're like, "I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm sorry. I didn't realize he was with you. I'm sorry." And they back off and they book it. They go back to the line because you didn't ask for names, and they're happy about that.
Smackdown in defense of Fen. This is a big moment in Fen's life. So Fen is recording this and will now have undying word.
I bring you back to life and fucking nothing. She stands up to you for some other stupid reason.
Problem with Rolan, you don't like me. That's the problem. Rolan is the problem with Fen. Fen is the one who's guilty in relation to Rolan. So that's on you, homie.
Do we?
Well, Fen's going to lean over to Holly Reese and say thank you very much, and that he's very grateful and appreciative of you defending him.
You're welcome. I mean, you're part of the group, but let's not get super mushy, okay? Grow up here.
Holly's always mean to Fen.
You know what's
I mean, to
Fenn's gonna
everybody.
happen? Crush now. That's what's gonna happen. Fenn's gonna be crushing on Holly.
Oh no.
Are we able to go into Frune's? Well, I guess I wouldn't do anything. I was gonna say like if we could walk around and see if we notice anything. But
Holly, before you do anything, Seth walks up to you and he says, "Ma'am, I don't know how to approach this, but I've been asking people around here what happened, and I'm not accusing you of the fireball, but they did say that you were going through the bodies afterwards, and I just wanted to make sure that you didn't find anything when you were going through the bodies. The gnome in particular, it looks like most of his pockets are turned out, and I mean, the peasants, they could be lying, but you know, they're all saying that the three over there, and he points to those three, and he's like, "That's Martha, Ben, and Jerry." They all
and Jerry
going through the pockets of the gnome,
and the silent partner Martha.
Yeah.
Oh, Martha.
They worked it for.
Why did you say that name?
Can I also just, by the way, tell you how pleased I am with the idea of turning our little pub into the Ghostbusters headquarters with firemen's poles all
Hell
over
yeah,
the place?
man.
Yes.
Well, you can do that at Frune's. It just opened up.
Yeah. Like I said, the new annex of Trollskull Manor.
Yeah. With the sewer system, I mean, you can just go straight there underground.
I'm sorry, Officer, and Holly Reese like throws back her hair and whatnot. And does like the Julia Roberts smile. I was just looking to make sure that
No humanity.
this deceased gnome and
You're good. That's all I needed to know was that that those dirty commoners are lying. Thank you.
You're welcome. If I find anything, I will certainly be sure to let you know.
We'll take care of them.
Always on them, like they don't know anything. Am I right?
Actually, I need to check something real quick.
I love how overt the evil is in this universe. The assholes actually use the phrase "dirty commoners" to other people. It's great.
Yeah, they're of a lower strata.
It's great. I love it.
I mean, and he's talking to a noble. He wants to make sure he doesn't offend her.
Dirty commoners.
No offense taken. You're good.
Let's
Keep
see.
up the good work.
Does Cameron? It's been a while since I've read this. Is there anything in here for lying about what a noble has done? I mean, they're going to get a stern talking to, but they probably would have booked him on something else.
You could consider it if they're going to book them on something else, maybe disturbing the peace.
Yeah, basically, they would have booked them on something else if you hadn't asked them to. Hampering justice, that's probably what they would have booked them on.
Oh, yeah.
By saying that you did something that you clearly didn't do. You get a sending from one of your footmen at your at the Go Delicately estate in the city that they're on their way, that a carriage is coming for you, that they're worried, that they've heard that an incident happened outside of your establishment. That should all be less than
my establishment.
Well, it's clearly yours. It can't belong to anyone else. That's no good for you.
Correct.
So funny.
It doesn't have to be that way, but your servants are going to assume that it's yours, unless you correct them sternly.
Can I cancel the carriage?
Do you know sending? I don't know that you know sending.
I don't think I do.
This is an emergency, or they think it's an emergency, so they're on their way to like basically come get you out of.
Okay.
Because if you died, they would get killed by your mom. So just so you know, like more than your life is on the line. if you ever kick the bucket, somebody better bring you back before you have to spend 4 tickets to bring everybody back. Anyways, so yeah, carriage is on the way to come get you out of the blast zone. Is anybody else wanting to do anything here while the guards are? Did you actually, Alu? Did you Are you just like sitting in there still eating breakfast at the blown out window?
I feel like she's been mostly observing. She's like, I
Okay.
don't need to rifle pockets. I don't care. It doesn't look like
Oh.
there's anything dire to do.
That is fantastic. Actually, can you do something for me then? Can
Yeah.
you give me, because of that, can you give me a give me 2 perception checks?
Okay.
Actually, no, your passive perception is high enough for the first one. Give me a second one. And then I'll explain why I'm doing 2.
Okay.
So you saw this really spindly person throw something, and it looked like smaller than like a ball, like a baseball. And then you saw well, when you saw the person do that, you averted your eyes because you just natural instinct of a rogue. You knew what was about to happen. Something bad was about to happen. And so you didn't end up with glass all in your eyes. But when you got back up in the nick of time to see that person run off, and they had the weirdest gait that you have ever seen. They were like, you've seen people who have peg legs and who have like bum legs, and they're really like stiff. But this guy, he had that stiffness to him, but he was also agile. It was like he was actually, you know, probably need an analogy from our world. If you've ever seen Slenderman, how he has like a really long gait, but he's like, he looks really rigid. That's kind of like, it's like he was moving at 60 frames per second, but he's also super rigid.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, and also, you gotta look at his face and his arms, and it looked like everything was covered in brass or bronze. He was very metallic.
He's like the dude in Central Park that does this.
It looked more like really like really elaborate full plate mail helmet. Like it had a face on it and everything, but it was entirely brass, and it wasn't like natural curves to it. You rolled really well for that. So, I was just thinking about it, and I was like, you were facing the right direction and at a window.
Nice.
I actually rolled for Perdita too, because she could just watch while the glass flew through her face.
Yeah,
but she was deep in helping with undercommon, unfortunately. Yeah. So it is, if it's a human, they must have 2 peg legs and be one of the most agile individuals you've ever seen.
with two peg legs.
Well, no, like more agile than the most agile person you've ever seen, but with the stiffest legs you've ever seen. Or
interesting combination.
if it's not a human, they are just one of the weirdest creatures you've ever encountered, and you've seen a lot of weird shit.
That one's going in the mental banks.
Now the only problem is you're the only one who saw it.
Yeah.
So you just have to explain this creature to everybody else.
And hope that somebody else has seen it.
Yeah.
Or knows what it is.
Yeah,
Do
exactly.
some sort of like history check.
Yeah, well, actually, Do you? What kind of checks do you have? I don't have your character sheet up right now.
Proficiencies.
Yeah, what kind of proficiency do you have?
Investigation, perception. Let's see. Hold on. Where is it?
Acrobatics.
So
Perception,
none of
persuasion, stealth.
you would definitely need proficiency with the knowledge to know about this thing.
Got it.
But
Which I-
you after things quiet down outside, you might want to do a little investigation because actually your perception check was awesome. You know a couple of the people who were like close to that thing when it threw the baseball, so you could later go and talk to them to see. Like, actually, let me roll something real quick. Oh god, who was the guy that you resurrected?
Henry.
Henry was there. He was close by.
Nice.
He might have seen it. So he was one of the people standing close.
And he's my
To
boy.
the thing that threw it. Yeah, him and his dad were both there.
Pavel is his son.
Yeah, Pavel. So if you talk to them, they may have seen it because they were coming down the direction that the thing was at.
Yeah, I would definitely ask them what they saw.
Okay. So yeah. Is anybody else doing anything?
If everyone else, or unless anyone else is like trying to do something in the meantime, then probably Wilhelm would have had enough time to come back out at this point.
Yeah. So you're back out there. Are you doing anything? They won't let you through the line. When
No,
you try
he's looking to talk with some eyewitnesses, like bystanders and stuff.
Well, right now there are a lot of people around, but it's mostly like gawkers. People are, like, whoa, what's happened over there? Like, why is that house, painted black now?
Does he
You know?
find any like gossiping, like I saw blah blah blah, or
Yeah, somebody's
I
saying
was
that
cleaning
like
a dish. I came out.
one of the guys is like, I heard it was
Uncanny
the
impression.
Rakshasa.
Ooh.
I mean, he's a devil, isn't he? Like, why do we even let him live in the city?
Oh, okay.
Racists.
I mean, he could just. I mean, you saw what he did
Speciesist.
there. He just burnt that place down. What did he have with Fern?
Yeah. Okay. I think
Speciesist.
Vincent can take care of himself. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna.
Yeah. Next person, like, if you keep listening, you hear
Yeah.
like that God smited Froon for selling alcohol, and God is
He's
God is
gonna
gonna
kill
take
the
down.
owners of Trollskull Alley next.
Yeah, they're gonna take down Trollskull Alley next, and you
Gotcha.
hear another
But-
person saying that this is what happens when you let halflings perform music outside of your establishment.
Beautiful. So
Just all sorts of racism and random speculation.
So no useful eyewitnesses can be found.
No, well, I guess first give me an investigation check just to see if you find the needle in the haystack. I guess is what it boils down to.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to say you can't find somebody, but I mean, people were running. A lot of anybody who like had taken shelter close to the blast is still inside the police line. So, except for who Alu saw.
14.
Yeah, you don't. You just keep hearing like baseless rumors. Like, I mean, you heard somebody like say like, I was just there and the halflings burst into flames, and there were some other people who burst into flames. But like, that's just what you know. Like,
Yeah.
that happened. Like, they didn't know anymore.
If that's the case, then Wilhelm would try and work his way around the guards and come back to the entrance of. The
You can give
tavern,
me
if
another
possible.
check for the other side as well. The
Sure.
other side's gawkers.
Yeah. 16.
You do hear some more people saying like, I just saw like an explosion and carts go everywhere, fire, but nothing like where a person saw anything more than that.
Yeah.
You hear somebody talking about a street performer that's really tall and lanky, but there's plenty of those around town.
Yeah.
So
Okay. I think Wilhelm would, yeah, he'd head back to the front entrance and he'd kind of open. The door's kind of been, you said it was like kind of blown off its hinges almost?
yeah. Well, it was
Lean-
blown off its hinges.
He'd lean in and check in on Alu. She's doing all right.
Are you just leaning back like?
She's like, well, she's waiting for Wilhelm to be
Yeah.
done so she could talk to Henry and
You would
Pavel.
have had to have gotten a new drink because unfortunately your beer is just filled with glass now.
Yeah.
So but breakfast was ruined by glass.
Yeah. I
mean, you see Leaf like furiously cleaning up shit because like you guys had gotten the entire place repaired.
looking so
now
nice.
He's just so pissed off right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I think all of us are a little unhappy about the damage done to our place, especially when we're having a grand opening in 3 days.
Yeah.
The incident.
Not anymore.
2 days. 2 days now.
Well, no, we're still doing it. We'll fix this shit.
Then I guess Wilhelm would just check in on everyone else. He'd kind of wait to regroup. That's all he's got.
Okay.
Yeah, Ali would invite Henry and Pavel in to get some information on what they saw. So what did they see?
Well,
Henry and Pavel?
Yeah, we're standing near the arsonist.
They're outside the police you saw them there, but you also saw them run. So if you're gonna go talk to them,
I gotta go find them.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm gonna go find them then.
Okay. When you leave, Barnabas finally shows up, or a man claiming to be Barnabas. Or I should say, who you believe is Barnabas, because he's you see a guy in robes like walking around with a staff. They let him through the police line, clear the civilians, the commoners.
And who, I guess, does he declare who he is?
Well, you see him because you're back in the tavern now. You see him talking to Seth.
Gotcha.
And they're like pointing to the bodies, and you see him making hand gestures and talking, and like he's clearly casting spells, but you don't know what he's casting.
Can't trust him.
They're discussing something about the incident.
Yeah.
So yeah. Do you just want to watch them go, or did anybody want to do anything? Nate, you're still out there. I guess they put you to work getting the corpses onto the carts to be taken to the temple.
Yeah, that's fine.
Taken to the temple.
Yeah, they know not to send them to the morgue in this district.
Mm-hmm.
So they're sending them to the nearest temple.
So I guess I would have seen the rest of my team try and investigate stuff on the fly a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm handling the bodies, then I'll go, take the normal people and put them on the cart, and then I'll put the as I'm carrying, if I pick up the two guys with the cloaks and the swords.
Well, as you go to do that, Barnabas stops you and he says, "Oh, son, leave these two and the gnome here for me, if you don't mind."
Sure,
By
no
whose
problem.
authority?
Sure, no problem.
You don't ask enough questions.
But if you don't mind,
Roland.
can you get those halflings over there?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can I do like as I'm picking them up and stuff? Can I do like a quick once over on them, like check wrists, collars? Just for different markings about stuff like that. See if I can.
You get through like 3 of them, and then when you get to the 4th one, when you're checking the collars, another guy comes up and he grabs the legs and he's like, "Get the arms." He thinks that like you're getting ready to grab the arms because you're looking at the 4th one's wrist, and he's like, he gets the legs and he's like, "Come on, grab the arms."
Yeah, sure. No.
You're so heavily armored that he just assumes you're with them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I kind of am.
Yeah.
So sure, I'll grab the wrists and we'll just kind of 1 and a 2.
Yeah, and you get them up onto the carts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you get all 4 halflings onto half a cart, and then
Poor halflings.
they point you to other corpses, but you see Seth and Barnabas are with the 3 corpses, and they're like pointing between them, and like you see Barnabas going like that, and, and yeah,
Okay.
and you see him point over at like a corner, like down here, where while Barnabas is talking to him.
All right. Is there a corpse nearby? Like I can kind of just sit there and
Yeah,
like
there's
slowly like kind of
there's the
prolong
3
my
servants
chore.
or the 3 normally closed people that were around like those 2. You can grab one of them.
Okay, I will like kind of like linger around, like slowly doing the lifting, but like try and catch what I can. I
Yeah,
can hear
yeah.
their conversation.
You hear Barnabas be like, "There's really such a thing as force beads? Never heard of such a thing
Ooh.
before." And he's like, "Well, they're not very common. Can't imagine why anybody would just chuck one of those in the middle of the street."
Cool.
But yeah,
Okay.
that would be my wager. And they start talking about how it seems really unlikely that there'd be somebody using force beads to just do serial killings or
All right. Cool.
terrorism like this.
And I'll just kind of like I'll try and I'll do the thing where I'm like slow to pick it up and then quick to drop it off and come back and slow to pick it up so I can get the most out of the conversation that I can.
And basically they go back and forth on like how Barnabas knows like that this is why he thinks this is a force bead versus like a
fireball versus
fireball or a fireball bead versus why it couldn't be gunpowder. And Barnabas actually like doubles back on himself and he's like, well, actually I'm being kind of stupid here. It probably is a fireball bead, given that there's fire. I guess there a lot more would be blasted in if it was a force bead. But he's like, it's just weird because fireballs don't normally cause concussive damage. But we can see the windows are blown out over there.
Interesting.
And he's pointing at like your guys' tavern. He's like, you hear Seth. When you get the 3rd corpse, you hear Seth being like, I mean, we're still gonna have to investigate whether they were after Froon. I mean, I know these guys look suspicious. They clearly have Xanather markings, but like, we don't know if the gnome was with them or if they were doing something with Froon or not. So we'll have to investigate that. But we can do that in good time. I mean,
is Froon's corpse still in the doorway?
They haven't. Nobody's like gone to get him yet because he's inside of a building. But you can see him like if you're facing like where the blast was, where they think the center of the blast was. You have like the 2 people who are on this side. You have the gnome, and then you have Froon like 3 feet back behind his door. He was probably like standing at the door, ready to open it when the blast happened.
Okay.
Did it also blow his door to smithereens like ours, or worse?
Yeah.
Probably worse.
Froon, you guys got to look at Froon. Froon has like a lot of wood in his chest. So like almost like what Nate had, except that his is more like shrapnel as opposed to just like one piece of wood.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Froon's seen better days. There was a time when he was alive.
Today is not that day.
Yeah.
No longer that time.
Well, it could be. Has anybody got a ticket left?
Fuck that.
Nah, we don't want to bring back Froon.
I mean, Nate, you've been
It's competition.
Jesus.
I mean, I guess I could get to level 2 renown if I did it.
Bringing back a competitor? I mean,
yeah.
It's not worth it.
All right. Yeah, beyond that, I guess, unless I'm not allowed to go get Froon's body.
Well, do you want to Do you want to try going towards it?
I guess I'll try going towards it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm kind of in the zone.
You set off the booby trap. A
Yeah,
second
well,
explosion rocks the alley.
Oh my god, yeah. The IED. You didn't notice the tripwire in Fern's door.
The
The
whole
second
alley
one.
starts lighting up with wards,
Yeah.
glyphs of warding.
Yeah,
I was
my
just thinking a paint
God.
can swings down from the thing above.
Yeah, Fern's kids were
You
gonna prank
dodge
him
it.
with a.
You
Fern's kids
dodged
were
the
gonna.
second one.
They were gonna prank him with like a
giant
bucket
metal-
of water.
Mm-hmm.
Tube
But then an
comes flying at
explosion.
you.
Now the kids will just think they killed the dad.
Mm-hmm.
Nah. Anyways, so yeah, you can go in. They don't seem to be paying too much attention to you. Like they are
Okay.
discussing that body, but like they don't stop you from moving it.
Okay, can I go over his body as well? See if there's anything like on him that I should be knowing about.
Well, I mean, when you go into his pocket, he's got like 10 gold pieces.
I don't care about that.
Yeah.
I'm looking for like marks or like distinguishing items or
Well, he's got a ton of wood on him, like directly in his chest. Like it's
A
weird.
lot of piercings.
Yeah, a lot of piercings.
Must be some
Okay,
sort
so-
of tribal thing.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Must be some
Yeah.
rite of passage.
They're very deep. I mean, all the way to
They
the
with
liver
their
in some
damn
cases.
rock music and their piercings.
Yeah, yeah, but no, he's there's nothing really unusual on him. He did have his shoes on, so he was clearly leaving his place. You know,
Okay. If that's the
just
case,
bad
then
luck. It looks like.
yeah. All right, then if that's the case, I'll pick him up and say, "All right, Froon, sorry about this, buddy. It's, I'd say it's nice knowing you, but not really."
All he
Barely
did
knew you.
wasn't the only interaction you had with him saying hi and dropping off a gift basket.
Yeah, he was actually really nice the one time you met him.
Well,
He was actually like supportive
yes,
of a
but
competitive business.
yeah, he was looking at our place with envy.
Well, yeah,
I
because
think
he's
that
got
was
a
what I was
competitor, and like
told.
you guys are just injecting venture capital through Hannah, and
Yeah.
well, he thinks through Hannah. I
Yeah.
mean, you guys are actually paying for it yourselves, but he's just like, damn adventurers, they go down and get one box of gold, and suddenly taverns everywhere, you know, like. But he was looking forward to the challenge of trying to defeat some adventurers at taverning.
Well,
Not anymore, though.
not anymore.
Friendly competition.
Yeah.
Mhm. So
Well, it's kind of weird. You don't know where his wife is. Like, you would think his wife would have come down. Maybe she's out.
maybe she's out.
Yeah.
I don't
Right.
remember him having a wife.
Can I do like a quick?
Well, his wife
swipe?
didn't stop over with him, but he
Yeah.
did have a wife.
When
mean,
I go
you
to
would
him,
have
can I
seen
do like
her-
a quick scan of like the lower level aside from like being blown inwards? Is there anything I should know about? Anything stand out to me about?
Well, the
this
glassware
situation?
on the tables is impeccable. No, I mean, the place looks like he was just getting ready to,
Okay.
open for about noon business. He
Then I
doesn't
guess I'll
serve any
call it
food
then.
like you guys do, so.
Okay. Then I guess I'll call it, and I'll put his body on the rack with the rest of them, and I'll
Okay.
head back and start helping lift, clean up. Call it good.
Liff is doing what he did on the first day, using mending to fix windows. He's not able to do it perfectly because there's just so many damn pieces, and he actually has to take pieces and put them there to mend. Like with the mirror, it wasn't that bad because everything was just cracked, but still in the right spot. When you first, it's been a long time, but since the first time you guys came here, but you're definitely going to have to replace the windows, but they'll probably be doable for your first night.
Okay.
Just from like what Lyft is doing. I mean, you could always board him up too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, from like the inside or something, just so it doesn't. Whatever you guys want to do, just throwing it out there that Liff is trying to like repair things to the best of his abilities, which is pretty good considering he's got mend, and can pick up glass with his bare hands.
Mhm.
So, but it's still not amazing. Oh, he does ask you for the piece of wood back that's still like in you.
your chest.
Yeah, after the door.
Well, I went over to the clerics and got mended up, right? So
You did. Like you got bandaged. Did
They
anybody-
didn't take out the piece of wood.
Nobody used magic on. Like there wasn't a cleric there yet.
okay. Well, then I'll
So, like,
take back my hit points then.
Not a
Yeah.
cleric, just a priest.
essentially, yeah. Actually, that's
Old
funny.
priest
Second
and a young
edition.
priest.
you could do that. You could play a priest or a cleric, and a priest was just a shitty cleric.
Yep. All right then. Well, I assume I will give it
you're
back.
not cheating or anything. The piece is big, but it hasn't gone like into any, organs.
Okay. If they bandaged me up, I guess I removed the thing. So sure, I'll give it back.
I think they were waiting for like a cleric to get there. Like they didn't want to pull it out because like you may start bleeding, more than they can handle.
Okay,
and
then.
The cleric never showed up, which is kind of weird.
All right then. I guess I'll have to wait on that then if I'm gonna pull out and potentially bleed out.
Cameron to do something about it. I think. Oh well, wait. Is he out of spells?
I
Well,
blew all my spells healing civilians.
Too. Okay, you don't have anybody who can heal here.
So I'll have to tell him. I have to
Healing
wait a minute
hands
because.
Yeah, Liv gets it. He's like, it's been a long time since I died, but like I get it. Blood loss, it's a thing. So he just does what he can with the door without the piece that you're greedily holding on to.
Yep.
Like your life depends on it or something.
Too bad.
It's only one piece.
Yeah. Liv, he's just, it's been a while since he's been mortal. He doesn't get it. Anyways. Yeah. So, Alu, where are you gonna go look for? Oops, I did not mean to move that.
Following Henry and Pavel. I don't know. I would probably know.
You
kind
saw
of an
them run
idea of
like
where
in the
they'd go.
direction of their house, roughly. Like they were going like
Toward the
south.
dock ward.
Yeah. Well, they live on. They live down here where, the place where Henry. I'm right. I'm sorry. They do live in the dock ward. Yeah, they were heading towards the dock ward.
Yep.
General direction. So if you want to
So,
stop by their house, you can.
Alu would have gone to look for them. Yeah, maybe gone to their house.
Yeah. Henry and Pavel are there. They're drinking.
Well, one of
after-
them is. Pavel's little.
Pavel, how old is Pavel?
Like
I got the
13-ish.
12, something like that between
13. Yeah, he's drinking. This is Middle Ages. Like
there. All
he's.
right.
Hey, if he drank water,
He's-
he'd have a worse time.
Drunk.
Well, his dad is obviously drunk. Pavel, he's drinking with him because of what they just saw. But,
Give me the goods.
Yeah, so, I guess you knock on the door?
Yeah,
And,
probably knock on the door.
Pavel comes to the door and it's like, oh, Alu, I'm so sorry what happened outside of your establishment. Didn't you just do anything about like Froon? Like, you didn't need to blow it up. Like, I know he was encroaching on your turf, but that's cold.
Pavel's assuming we did this. They saw the dude that threw the thing.
Yeah, you hired him, right?
Oh, no.
Oh,
No,
I-
I'm here to find
I mean,
out
I-
what you know.
I've
So she can
heard
kill
about
you.
it. It's like you go and you hire somebody and they turn out like you ask them to do a job and they turn out to be just a lunatic. Like, have you heard of that clown guy?
No. What clown
Okay.
guy?
Well,
I don't know. Maybe she has. Has she heard of this clown guy?
The
Do I have to
kidder.
do a history check?
it's probably Rex. He's talking. Hire a lunatic for a job. He does tons of collateral damage. Yeah. Anyways, it was just an allusion to Rex, but more than likely Rex. Hopefully there's not two of them. But yeah, he let you in before he keeps going on about how they could have done it for you and would have been cheaper, less collateral damage. But yeah, he pours you a drink and is like, so, you're not here to kill us, are you? Like, I know we saw it, but like,
No,
Like,
I just want the information on the dude that threw the shit.
oh, he wasn't yours?
No.
Oh, man. I didn't know.
Nobody's gonna be sorry.
Well, I don't think it was a dude. I assumed, like, since you have, wizards, like, that was some you guys made.
Oh, it's something that was made?
Well,
Tell me more. I'm not a wizard.
well, I heard it clanking, like, plate clanks, but it was like grinding, like
click, 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 or
Yeah,
chunk,
yeah,
chunk, chunk?
yeah. Like I
Almost
mean,
like a wind-up toy.
yeah, yeah. You've seen a pocket watch before? Like I know they're rare, but I mean, we've fenced a few
Freaking
occasionally.
clockwork
Like hear
going.
that little like clicking it makes, like it's
Clockwork
like
Man.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Clockwork.
Interesting.
Good words. Man. Well, hopefully, my son can get an education, know those kind of words.
We're gonna
No word.
Ollie's gonna like invite him to like stop by on occasion and do some schooling with Siri and
I
her sister.
I will make sure he does. Well, actually, I mean, can you come get him because I don't want him to die in a blast outside of your business.
I'll meet him on the
you guys
corner
brought me
in the
back,
morning.
but I don't expect you to bring my son back anytime
Only
soon.
we had like a big yellow carriage that all the kids could ride in to go to educational areas. of the city.
It would be too expensive, and you'd have to get levies, like transportation levies, and I don't
Tax
know.
the people.
Yeah, like, and is there really even a reason to educate the commoners? Like, you're just teaching them to revolt.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're fine
Anyways,
with that.
Question
he
authority.
didn't say any of that.
Yeah.
That was God actually saying, all that. So, anyways, so yeah, he explains to you how like this man like he ticked, like he made all the noises that a pocket watch made, and when he got a good look at his face, like it was too like it looked like
Angular.
a really like nicely made full plate helmet, but it was way too small to have somebody's head inside it. And
Interesting.
like he got a look at the guy's arms, and like there were even spots he could see through like the arm. Like there were holes that went all the way through it. So like either the guy literally doesn't have muscles and just has brass plating all over his bones, or he's like fully made of metal.
Not a human.
Yeah.
So, not a human. Got it.
Yeah, he's like, I thought he was a street performer at first, like, because of how he was so much bigger than everybody else around us. Like, I
That's
thought he was a
what
guy
I
on stilts.
said.
But then he pulled out that baseball, thought he was just gonna, like, do some juggling, and he threw it, and
Kaboom!
yeah, man, if we had some of those, I mean, hits would be so much easier. I mean, we were doing the stuff with the glyph of warding, but and these are like glyphs of warding that you can throw. It's amazing. Did you even know that stuff existed?
Nope.
Well,
Glyphs of warding.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, we had some of
Ollie's
those on paper,
remembering.
and like, if you said "oops," like exploded.
Mm-hmm.
You guys
Yeah.
don't-
Alu gets
have
her
that.
nom flashback.
Yeah, you guys don't still
Yeah.
have that, right?
Nope.
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad none of you got hurt by it. That's
Yep.
oh man, it takes me back. We had a warehouse of those once. And
Oof.
Jeff, poor guy.
The whole neighborhood went up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks really sad when he looks down into his drink, thinking back on Jeff and that
Aw.
warehouse fire.
Poor Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff. He was just drinking with us. We were playing cards. Dropped his drink. Said "oops." Whole warehouse went up in flames. Pours a drink out on the floor for Jeff.
It's
Yeah, anyway.
a word to avoid.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I hope that helps. I owe you guys a lot. I don't know what that
might.
thing was, but it ain't human.
Oh, question. Last couple of questions. Can you tell me how tall you thought it was? Seemed like tall.
Like, well, I'm like 6 hands tall, 7 hands. He's like, well, I guess it was maybe like this much taller than me. And he's like, it's like 1.5 feet taller than him. But he's like, it was only like as wide as me though. So it's like it was super lanky, and he actually describes like what it was wearing. It had like a poncho on, like, and it had really baggy pants, and some leather wrapped shoes, like not like soles, but like just like something like a commoner would have, where it's just completely wrapped.
Yeah.
Cloth. And he was like, and it had a hat on that was a kind of like a
Tricorn?
like what? Yeah, like what Robin Hood would wear.
Yeah,
I don't know what
tricorn.
those are. Okay, yeah,
Tricorn.
tricorn. Yeah, he had one of those on. And the face, like what I thought was like a plate mail mask at first. It was like had like really long chin. Looked like it had a pointed beard. Had like a mustache like carved into it. Really pointy nose, like sunken in cheeks. Me and Pavel were watching it because we thought he was about to start his performance, and boy did he start a performance.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Henry. I appreciate all your information.
Yeah, no problem. Well, you guess you could say I was in the right place at the right time.
Guess so.
I need that to happen more. Let's get this feeling I'm always in the wrong place at the wrong time. Yeah.
That's
so
so funny.
Hey, he gives you. Yeah, you can stay there as long as you want to drink with him. He'll keep pouring
Alright.
you drinks. So
Ollie
won't tell you to
wouldn't
leave.
stay much longer. She wouldn't stay very long. She would just head back to Trollskull Alley and let Pavel know that, you know, on whatever days Henry can spare him, he's not busy. We'll send
He's like,
someone to come grab him for school.
he says, I'll send Henry or Pavel every other day because I do need him out there making money. But you know, taxes aren't going to pay themselves. You know, I hear they got this. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah, you get it. You have a place here.
Thank you, Henry.
So, yeah. Hey, let you go.
All right. And I'm going to go back to Trollskull Manor and share what I learned with everybody and see if Holly has any ideas.
Finn, what's your passive perception? You're muted.
My passive perception is
14.
Oh.
Yes, 14.
Hey, I guess what have you been doing this time? Because they've let you walk around wherever you want to after Holly like vouched for you. Would you is there anything that like, because I know you're a hunter, like would you automatically look at tracks? Like would you be interested in looking at, I mean it is a dirt road, but you know, you do know somebody was murdering people here, so well, paved road, I mean, but it's a poorer part of town, so like some of it's paved, some of it isn't. There's a lot of potholes. It's like they don't pay taxes or anything. Well, they do pay taxes. It's just they don't use it for this.
Yeah, okay. I suppose he probably would be.
Because if you spent enough time looking around, you will find some really weird footprints. So if you're still doing that now, well, I assume you're still doing it now because, the guards are starting to clear out and everything. And on the street corner down here, you find the weirdest footprints you've ever seen. It's like a deer that only has one like I don't know what you call those, but on their hooves they actually have like a cleft in it. It's cloven hoof. It's like a hoof that doesn't have a clove to it. It's just pushed down into the ground.
Right.
And I mean they're pretty far away from each other, but because of and some of them aren't there because of like places where the paving is good, but like as good of a tracker as you are and how much time you've spent doing this kind of thing and how different this is from a normal human's footstep or any type of vehicle that moves around the city, you can tell that like, even though some of them are missing, that this is like a long gate of some creature.
Okay.
And it's
So,
strange because like every one of them is like very precise. Like they just go straight down. They never like are at like a weird different angle like a normal human would be, where like, you know, sometimes they take their steps lighter or sometimes they take their steps like shorter. Like there's just these holes, like somebody was like poking rods down into the ground.
okay. So obviously Fen is seeing this. So would Fen have any idea, like, would he know what kind of creature this is by the look of the tracks? Is it something that he would have seen before based on where he
Give me a knowledge nature check.
Okay, let's see. Nature is +2. What do I do with knowledge?
Oh, sorry, it's just nature.
Nature. Okay.
Yeah.
+2.
I'm old school and used to putting knowledge on front of
Yeah,
all
you keep saying reflex.
Yeah,
13.
I had to keep correcting myself not to say dex save instead of reflex.
Mhm, I know.
Yeah.
Because the other thing that I was curious about is because
it should
Fen
be
has primeval awareness, which is detecting a lot of these different people within 1 mile of me, but I'm like in a friggin' city. So
Which-
like,
Well, and there's one that's like permanently close to you. So you're
Yeah, and
like
it doesn't-
basically you're used to your alarm always going off
yeah.
because of Vincent.
So it's essentially useless all the time.
I mean, it's always screaming at you.
Right.
Like you always know that there's something
My
evil
defense is
there.
always tingling.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Is
yeah,
it
all I can
really
do-
useless that's telling you you're always in danger?
Well, for
It's
Fen, no, 'cause
right.
he is always in danger.
So let's see here. What'd you got a 13? This doesn't, you can tell that this is not natural in any way, shape, or form. That there's no animal, magical or otherwise, that should make a track that is this precise always.
Okay. Well,
So
geez,
you
I
can't
might-
tell what creature it is, but you can tell it's a creature that is not, it doesn't seem natural.
It's good. So its stride length is too uniform.
Yes, and also the way that it always makes the track is basically perfect.
So presumably this is
Like
the
it
weird.
always is in at the same angle.
Yeah. This
Like
is a
it-
construct of some sort.
Yeah.
It's artificial.
So did
Super
Fen see this weird? So only Alu saw this weird creature.
Your
right?
back was to it because you were facing Alu, and Alu was
Right.
facing out, and she had a window at her right hand side. So
She has since described this to us.
She's not. No, she's away from us right now. She's
Yeah, she
I'm
hasn't
on my
gone
way
back.
back.
yet.
She learned about this off screen essentially to us.
And a
Okay,
few of
well, I
you
mean-
have gotten clues as to essentially piece this together. Like Hannah knows that the 4 speeds, or that it was a fireball, but there was no like trace of magic leading from where it was cast.
Mhm.
Can Fen see more tracks? Are there more tracks leading away, or is it just the one track and they disappeared?
In
Like, is he able
fact,
to
there
follow
are
them?
tracks leading away that are perfectly spaced apart from each other.
They do, so you just
This
see them-
creature is perfect at leaving tracks, actually.
I see. So this is the type of thing that he could potentially follow. So I think the first
Yeah.
thing Fen's
This would
Fen's
be
gonna-
easier to follow than a wagon on a dirt road because of how apparently this creature, whenever it takes a step, is like taking about an inch divot into the ground at a perfect angle every single time, at a 45-degree angle, roughly.
Okay, so we're being invaded by the fucking tripods. I got it.
Yeah.
so-
God, if I had given it 3 legs, that would have been amazing. And
so
then the
Fen's
fireball
gonna
goes off.
talk to the crew over here and say, obviously, hey, I found something. The question that he's going to wonder, Fen is suspicious that this is almost too neat by half, and like, because Fen dies all the time he does anything, so he's going to assume that they're trying to lure him into some shit. So he's going to call people over for a confab and say, hey, look what I found. We got to decide what we're going to do with this. Do we follow it?
Oh, and I
Well,
guess, Nate, because you were hanging around like all the deputies before they left, and like you were trying to stay close to them, you never heard anybody mention these strange footprints.
Yeah, me. Okay.
Yeah, you never heard anybody. None of the guards that you were helping carry bodies, and neither Seth or Barnabas mentioned anything about strange footprints or strange tracks.
Okay. So nobody mentioned that to me. Okay, that's fine.
You just didn't hear them say anything about it, and so I guess
They don't know. They didn't see them.
yeah. If Finn, are you pointing them out to Nate?
Yeah,
Or,
so I'm
to,
bringing
Rolan?
whoever's near me from my party. I'm bringing them over to have a look at it because again, Fen is because the way you're describing it suggests that it's like it.
Has
I'm not saying the wood flavor,
has
but Fen
Alu
might.
returned at this point?
Yeah, has returned.
So I was starting this right when Alu started her conversation.
Okay.
So I guess be like another 15-ish minutes before she comes back, because there's not a lot to talk about with him other than pleasantries, taking drinks, and
I was gonna
learning that you've been robbed by or blown up by a pocket watch.
Yeah. So I think we've got bits and pieces of information, but we haven't shared it yet.
Yeah, I think you all have pieces and need to put them all together like Liff is doing with the window.
Yeah, Wilhelm would if Fen points them out, Wilhelm
Nate literally has a piece.
would come over and then ask everyone to come inside, and we'll do a conference brainstorming session about what we've learned so far, which we could do on the next session.
Well, I do have to ask, can somebody heal Nate before we go? Because that was an oversight on my part that the cleric didn't show up. I don't know if I said they healed you, but if I did, I was actually planning on the clerics taking a long time because they're not usually part of the force.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean,
and I rolled to see are they going to get stuck in traffic?
Jesus.
They're stuck in traffic.
They were stuck in traffic trying to get here because of people basically going every direction trying to get away from here and get to here.
Tell you what, I have a second wind. I can get back on a short rest. I'll probably just
suck it up. You pull it out and you just.
I'll rub some dirt in it and call it good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fuck it off.
Well, you can have Perdita hold it closed because she can literally reach inside you and hold it.
Okay, that sounds good.
She'll hold it while you
Do your second wind?
Yeah, second wind.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're good. I mean, you could just take a poker from the fire.
D10 plus 3. Okay, hang on. Let me see if I roll minimally here. I do.
Ooh.
I regain all but one of my hit points.
Yeah, all but one. So there's a little bit left.
Of course.
It's smarts because Perdita's sewing you and she doesn't remember pain that well.
Mm-hmm.
And she's also holding your insides to keep you from bleeding while she's doing that. Finn or Liff grabs the piece of wood when she throws it on the ground, and you see him go and wash it off in a basin and go put it in the door.
Mm-hmm.
He looks pleased with himself, as pleased as a ghost can that's reconstructing his bar.
Yeah,
great.
All right then. So
we can try to put together this crazy
we
mechanical automata.
We have what looks to be some sort of automaton construct man lobbing hand grenades or some sort of
at people who have Legend of the Hidden Temple.
Yeah,
tikis.
that'll be. We have an easy icebreaker question for next time, which is, what clues did your character learn?
Yeah.
Your icebreaker question: how happy are you that Fern is dead?
Yeah.
Scale of 1 to 10.
27.
Yeah. Oh God. Who done it? Professor Plum with the blasting sphere.
C3PO with a hand grenade.
Baseball.
Yeah, with the thermal detonator.
Yeah.
The TikTok.
Yeah. No, that was
with the baseball.
well. I'm done. So, but that really. I'm glad that I finally got to that Finn finally got to use tracking in the city. I felt so bad because that is one of the coolest things about being a ranger in any other campaign is you're just oh, these are 2 days old. Yeah, I'll find it.
No big.
but nobody else would have noticed. Even though these are easy to follow, no
Yeah.
one else would have noticed them.
Yeah, no one would have been looking there. Yeah.
They would have needed a much higher passive perception to see like that these are weird tracks as opposed to just like random divots in the ground.
Yeah.
I
So-
think Fen generally is at a bit of a disadvantage in the city.
In the city.
And I also really enjoyed Hannah standing up for you. Like,
Yep.
I know
For a
it's,
change.
it's a small triumph that you got to use tracking. It's a big character.
Here's a question. I think, this is a selfish thing on my part. I think Fen should get some inspiration from that for next time.
You know what? I actually
Advocate for
think
yourself.
that you and you all, well, actually, basically all
Everyone
of you,
gets inspiration.
I actually
Yeah.
do think everybody should get inspiration next time because you all
Oh.
did really awesome things. Like Nate, you like making sure you stayed close to like the conversation and just falling in line like a soldier. Cameron, like stealing a badge off of a guard, and it would have worked either way because one of them was just a buy time. The other way, you just became an investigator if you passed.
Yeah.
You know, Hannah, you using detect magic and being able to tell like that there was a fireball, but we don't know where the hell it came from. And
Throw
the
your
fact that
noble weight around.
you-
Yeah.
standing up for Finn and grabbing the tiki.
Yeah.
Alu, I mean, you were like, it's a right place, right time thing, but also just like you doing your investigation, noticing, like, even if I rolled to see if like both of them were there, even if they hadn't been there, there would have been people who saw this strange like street performer who suddenly starts throwing grenades. So
Right.
like you would have been able to probably hunt somebody down regardless. But like it was even better that it was somebody you knew and could just like go talk to. That you don't have to like threaten.
Yeah, no,
uh,
they're my boys.
Yeah, like everybody, this was a great session. I
Yeah,
really
it was a
enjoyed
lot
it.
of fun. And on
All
that
right, man.
note, we'll say bye to everyone. Bye.
Hey guys.
Bye.